Well, hello everyone, and happy Friday the 13th. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. We have got a little bit of a series going on with this new Edgar Allan Poe deck. I am really enjoying it, and I wanted to share with you some insights about Edgar Allan Poe before your reading. Now, if you're like, I don't give a shit about Edgar Allan Poe, just fast forward to the intro part. I do have timestamps, but I found Edgar Allan Poe really interesting. I had not known much about him. I had no knowledge of him. Edgar Allan Poe's guidebook says, "Welcome to the mysterious and macabre world of Edgar Allan Poe, where all that we see or seem is but a dream within a dream." Now, Edgar was born in 1809. He was a master storyteller, and Poe can be associated with tarot, as through both the tarot and fiction, we learn more about who we are and what we can become. Tarot reveals our shadow sides, or the hidden realms within us, or the places we need to embrace and shine more light on, bringing up what's buried in our subconscious. So for Friday the 13th, I wanted to transmute the energies of what we normally would consider a scary, fearful, or darker holiday into an opportunity to address our fears hidden deep inside and release them, no longer keeping us bound or in this self-imposed prison. And we do that with our beliefs, our mindsets, with certain people, relationships, situations. And these things need light. They need clarification and allowing us to transmute these energies that keep us stuck, that keep us from growing, that keep us from raising our vibration. Now, Edgar Allan Poe saw a lot of death in his life. He lost his mother to tuberculosis. He lost his foster mother to tuberculosis, and eventually his wife Virginia. He also himself was born in 1809 and only lived to be 40 years old. And through the darkness and the grotesque of what he saw during his life and the challenges, the pain and the suffering that he went through, he learned for that darkness to be his muse, for him to create through the pain. You know, a lot of the best songs ever written were written by artists who were in a low, painful spot in their lives, and Edgar Allan Poe did that. He became creative within the dark energy. What I found interesting is that his mother actually died of TB in Richmond, Virginia. So as we look at Poe and his life, you know, he did not live to be very old. I mean, 40s was pretty old when you're in the times of tuberculosis, which they called Red Death, because basically you ended up coughing up blood and choking to death, which is horrible. But before we go on, why are Fridays that fall on a month's 13th day so fearful? Let's tie it into Edgar Allan Poe. You know, we know Friday the 13th is Jason, Freddy Krueger, It, The Blob, aliens, you know, anything that scares the bejesus out of us. Now, Edgar Poe saw so much of it that he embraced it. So, but did you ever wonder where the superstition this dates come from and the mysticism that surrounds it? The unsettling power of the numerals were cemented through Christianity with the story of Jesus' Last Supper and the crucifixion, in which there were 13 individuals present in the upper room on the 13th of Nisan, Monday, which is a Thursday, the night before Jesus' death on Good Friday. So in Christianity, it went down as, you know, that isn't such a lucky day. In Norse or in Viking myth, they follow a very similar version of the Christian version, believing that 13 is an unlucky number because 12 gods or 12 lords in the Viking time were having a dinner party in Valhalla, you know, the afterlife, and the trickster, the god Loki, who was not invited to this party, this dinner, arrived as the 13th guest, and he was only there because he had arranged the assassination of their leader Balder with a mistletoe-tipped arrow. So the Vikings had a very similar superstition about Friday the 13th, but it kind of came from a little bit of a different aspect. Now we got the myth that links Friday the 13th with the fall of the legendary warriors known as the Knights Templar. On a fateful Friday, more than 600 Templars were arrested, brutally tortured, getting confessions from many of their dark activities. You know, darkness cannot exist in light. So all these perceived bad luck events that we label dark or unlucky, yes, horrible, difficult times. But the one thing that all these things have in common is that they ushered in change. One way or the other, there was transformation and change, and sometimes transformation is ugly. Sometimes it's pain, sometimes it's suffering. Like Edgar Allan Poe saw, sometimes it was tuberculosis and having your family members die. So during this dark time, instead of labeling something as dark or light, as an energetic being, we're learning to transmute the darkness, transmute and create through those times of darkness. And instead of focusing on the horrible aspects, focus on what comes next. You know, it's always darkest before the dawn. And the meaning of my readings is for us to get past the darkness. If we give hate, fear, energy to the dark things around us, then we're only adding to that, okay? So instead of even looking at Friday the 13th as something dark, let's look at it as an opportunity to transform some of our own fears. And we'll see you at your reading. Thanks for hanging out with me. Last but not least, Virgo. Happy Friday the 13th to you. Happy solar eclipse. I'm a little late on your video and actually doing it during the solar eclipse, so I figured let's make this one a little interesting. And I'm just going to fly with it. I'm not doing any set spread for you, Virgo. I am literally just going to let the cards tell the story. Are you ready? Grab a cup of coffee or a cup of tea. Let's get cozy and let's do the last Friday the 13th reading and see how we can't transform some darkness into light. And we're thanking our spirit guides, our ancestors, archangels for these messages. What messages do you have for Virgo during this solar eclipse? Friday the 13th last night, a lot of big energy going on. What is the big message? And we have got the 9 of Swords. So this is a divine masculine sitting up in bed. He can't sleep. He's got anxieties and stress and worries. And that's how we're starting off your reading, Virgo. Now, 9s are endings of cycles, so we can begin another. And swords are about communications and thoughts. So this looks like this divine masculine is being kept up at night about something he's continually thinking about or something he wants to communicate. I had a couple readings for Friday the 13th that were about a divine masculine really kind of having a hard time about communicating. But let's get some clarifiers and see what we got here. All right, so I'm asking about the divine masculine who's being kept up at night. Let's see what we've got here. Can we clarify this situation of why? All right, and I had one flip. It's the 9 of Cups. So this is a divine feminine energy, not gender. Reverse the roles as they fit for you. And she is bountiful. She's in an agricultural area. She may have reddish hair. This divine feminine is extremely abundant. So we've got a divine masculine and a divine feminine now energy. And one is up at night thinking about something they'd like to communicate or having these thoughts play over and over again. And we asked what about, and it looks like it's about a divine feminine in 9 of Cups energy. So she is doing her thing. All aspects of her life have aligned. Now, in this image, Eleonora stands in an expansive field of rolling hills with blue skies, and the beauty in this scene reflects the satisfaction that she feels deep within. The ivy flows down to her feet and snakes around 7 chalices that rest in the grass. These chalices also brim with flowers and ivy. Now, ivy is symbolic of the love and eternal fidelity. So, Virgos, we have a divine masculine in a completely different energy than what the divine feminine is in. The divine masculine is stressed out, he's up, he's got a lot of anxiety, whereas the divine feminine seems to be doing her thing. Her life has been plentiful, she's happy, she is abundant, and she's in a blissful state. So let's dig in a little bit and get a little more clarity on what this divine masculine is so stressed out about. I mean, we know it's about her, but what about? What's the backstory here? What kind of little mystery do we have going on? All right, so I have got the 7 of Wands in the reverse, the 8 of Swords upright, and the 4 of Wands cockeyed, so kind of sideways. So that's, not really one direction or other. That's kind of like in the process. So let's see what it is that is stressing out this divine masculine and keeping him up at night. So what's keeping him up about this divine feminine in the 9 of Pentacles energy is this 7 of Wands in the reverse. He quit. He didn't fight for her. He felt overwhelmed, unprepared for meeting someone like her. He avoided conflict, and in his mind, with one decision, he ended up in the 8 of Swords. His negative thoughts, his victimhood, and limiting beliefs led to self-imprisonment, a self-imposed imprisonment. He put himself there, not literally in a physical jail, although that could be for some out there, but of the mind and in his spirit. He didn't listen to his intuition. He allowed these other things to override what he felt deep inside about, and we've got the 4 of Wands sideways, so this is a divine connection. Twin flame energy, 1111. He wants to bring it back to life, to wake this connection up from its slumber. All right, so let's ask, what's his plan? Does he have a plan? Is it just in his mind now that he wants to take some sort of action? We've got no cards of action here. This is all in someone's mind. This is their thought process. Oh, we've got the Knight of Swords, and boom, I was shut up. That is an action card. That is a divine masculine who comes forward with the intent to speak his truth. In Telltale Heart, Berenice is the story of a man named Agaius who suffers from an obsessive disorder called monomania, in which he falls into intense periods of focus. Agaius is to marry his cousin Berenice, but she falls sick and she dies. Berenice is buried, but Agaius becomes obsessed with her teeth. This is sick. Sorry, guys. So he exhumes her body and removes them. Get right into the Halloween spirit here. A few hours later, a servant enters Agaius' room and informs him of a violated grave of a disfigured body, enshrouded, yet still breathing, still palpitating, still alive. In this image, Agaius sits in a darkened room. A small black box filled with teeth has spilled on a desk. A dirty shovel leans against the wall. Blood and dirt are caked on his pants, and he holds a small sword. You have your mind set on a goal and will move heaven and earth to achieve it. You're cunning, strategic, and intelligent. Now, Virgos, don't forget, I asked what his plan is. You're capable of accomplishing, you see that cunning, strategic, and intelligent? There's that Gerard Butler archetype that's in all my readings. You're capable of accomplishing anything you set your mind to, but don't act in haste. You feel like you can do anything. The power of your dreams have never been greater. You'll be successful as long as you as long as you persevere through setbacks. Don't focus on one objection to the exclusion of all others. Keep an open mind to all solutions. Ration your energy and pace yourself to avoid burnout. So this is talking about, and what part I liked about it is to keep a mind to all solutions. If he is trying to manifest something with the 4 Wands connection that he missed the opportunity with, this is the Scorpio reading, this is the Taurus reading. My last 3 readings seem to be flowing all into one another. But the point is that when you're manifesting, I'm finding that if you obsess over it and you have any kind of doubt, or it's taking too long, or you're impatient, and you kind of ruin the flow and you slow down your manifestation. So you always have to think positively, and you have to be very open-minded to letting the universe bring it in. You ask for something, well, get out of the way. Like, we want to control it. We want to rush it. We want to, use that push energy to bring union in. And I've been there. I have been there a lot. But I'm learning that you have to detox from that. You have to allow the universe to work its magic. And that comes from, stepping back. So we've got action. He's definitely on the move. Let's get one more card. And I've got the Two of Pentacles. Now, this is an interesting card because we know the Two of Pentacles is about obligations, juggling, making a choice. And this divine masculine has been struggling with two options. We see two things being held up by the maestro. This pentacle on one of the silver plates represents money, wealth, fame, materialism, while this book represents a different option. Whatever this book is, this is another thing that keeps popping up. And you see in this card, in the Two of Pentacles, he's reading a book. He's got a book right on the table. So his plan is to take action, and he's made a choice, is what it looks like to me. We saw that, it's not thoughts anymore. This is definitely action. Yeah, so the Two of Pentacles upright, fulfilling your obligations and your responsibilities. This is being able to adapt and also be flexible. So we saw in the last card, he's in that Gerard Butler, strategic, deeply mindful individual who is planning. And this doesn't stretch far from that because this is about time management and organization. So he is definitely taking action. He's got a plan. Let's ask what this divine feminine in this Four of Wands connection. Now, we haven't seen anything about her, other than in the Four of Wands that she's been asleep. She's been not involved. She's been doing her own thing. She hasn't known what's gone on with this gentleman. So let's ask, what does she think about this? This Knight of Swords, this possible twin flame connection, that someone is going to come forward after a very hard time of struggling with something. And we've got the Three of Swords. So what does the divine feminine think about this? She's like, my heart had been broken. And we see his heart had been broken too. He wouldn't be having sleepless nights and anxiety and this stress and this inability to be in a peaceful or calm state about something if his heart hadn't been broken. Let's ask one more. What else does she think about this? Can it be repaired? Can it be fixed? This is the Ten of Cups in the reverse. Oh, shit. So she's like, oh, this is just reinforcing the broken heart. She's like, this is disharmony. This was broken dreams, dysfunction, instability, isolation. Okay, so we're seeing here when we asked about what she thought about this situation, we've got the Three of Swords and we've got the Ten of Cups in reverse. And unfortunately, that's not very good energy. That is somebody who is recognizing a situation was no joke to them either. I mean, we can see both of them how much pain these two were in. Boy, if this isn't a twin flame connection, I don't know what is, right? But, through the pain is caused and the suffering is caused by wanting to control the situation, wanting to not make changes, wanting to stay the way we are when the universe is just beckoning us to step into a new light, to do something different, to get out of insanity. It wants us to be courageous. It wants us to overcome our fears. And that's what all my readings were about. It's so funny, we're closing with this Virgo reading about a character that, was deeply disturbed about a situation with a divine feminine who he realized was a Four of Wands connection. He is taking action. We saw that he's made the choice. He's balancing things out. And in between time that she's sleeping, she had to recover. It looks to me like she grieved the loss at one point, but we saw her in the Nine of Cups energy. So she's good right now. But if you ask her what she thought about this situation, and she's like, well, holy hell, it was a dumpster fire, right? So I'm going to ask, and I'm sorry, this is 16 minutes. This is terrible. I should get off here. But let's ask how she feels about the Knight, okay? Not about the situation with the Knight, but in her heart space, what does she feel for this Knight? All right, let's see. What does she feel in her heart space for this Knight? What does she feel? Oh, Wow, that jumped up. She's the Empress. That is the Empress that popped out, twirled around, was all nimbly bimbly in my hands. She's like, I'm the Empress. Who is he? Who is he? He's the Fool. Oh my God. That's what she's saying. And maybe there's two people on this Fool card. Maybe she's saying we were both fools. You know, there's two characters in the Fool card. 0, taking a risk, right? That's what the Fool is about, going on an adventure. I asked what's in her heart space. She says, I'm the Empress, and maybe we were both fools. Maybe we were both fools into thinking we could stay away from each other. Maybe we were both fools into thinking that we could have something different. Maybe we weren't. One more. Clarify this. I see two characters. I think she's saying we were both fools. 2 cards popped out. And we've got the Knight of Pentacles and the 3 of Wands. And I'm going to end the reading with this. I just saw 1818. The Knight of Pentacles is slow, methodical energy. This is, again, the Gerard Butler archetype, where step by step, strategic plan by plan, and they don't care how long it takes them. And then the 3 of Wands. This is a very interesting card about 2 ships on each side of each other with a whirlpool in the middle with their beacons shining. You can see their lights. They're trying to notify each other, but there's this portal that separates the 2 of them. This is the communication that he is lying in bed at night stressing about what I should say, when I should say it, how I should say it. If he wants to be with his Empress, if he wants to be in this 4 of Wands connection, you know, we see him taking action. It may be slow, but he is taking action, and I think they both had their hearts broken. I think they both realized this was a loss. I think they both were foolish in probably their own regards about the situation. But we see here that if there's going to be a new beginning, if this 4 of Wands connection is going to work out, you've got to step into the portal. You've got to get on the same timeline. And the only way to get on the same timeline and to manifest a new beginning is to communicate. That's it. That's the only way to do it. This Divine Masculine, he's an action taker. He got tired of being up at night. He's made a choice, and it looks to me like hell or high water. He's headed in, and let's ask, you know, what's the ending for these two? What's the key? What's the result? And we've got the Queen of Cups. Wow, that's the Moon. That's emotions. That's, you know, a cup of love. That's kind of beautiful. She says, I still love him. Even though we went through all this together, she says, I still have nothing but love for him, regardless of the pain. Virgos, if you enjoyed this reading, wow, oh my gosh, like, smash that subscribe button. You dug my vibe. You want to check out some more of my readings. Love to have you join the tribe. And yeah, have a great solar eclipse day. I just really wanted to do one during the solar eclipse. Even if it was a little long, I was like, oh yeah, we got to pick up on these energies. And this was a pretty interesting reading. And, you know, enjoy your day. Peace and love, you guys.